Hello, I'm Ben. Welcome to the channel. Today we're going to talk about a book that I mentioned in a prior video. This is a book that I think should be required reading for anyone in marketing and in management or taking those programs in college, and I don't think it'd be a bad idea for young folks graduating high school to read this as well. This is Brian Tracy's book, Eat That Frog. And basically, it is an international bestseller. More than 1 million copies have sold. This is revised and updated regularly, and editions are made. This version here, I think, is the 4th or 5th revised edition. But here's what that looks like. So, eat the frog. What does that mean? Eat that frog. So we're going to go through that. I'm going to pull out roughly 10 key takeaways I think are probably the best to focus on in this book. It is a time management suggestion, and it talks about some of the things that impact our time and our way of thinking that maybe we don't focus on or we don't know about. And what it does is it calls attention to those items, meaning if you're paying attention to them, you actually can improve your performance, and you can do things that specifically will have you focused and spending your energy on what's more productive. So we'll jump right in. So the first thing that the book suggests that I think stands out is to make a list of 10 goals. A lot of folks don't have goals written down. Everyone that is successful, if you hear a common thread through what they talk and what they say it's because they write down their goals. I write down my goals. I have goals for every day, and I have goals for every week and expectations I want to have done by the end of the year. No matter what your role is, you can do that. Set personal goals, set professional goals, and set goals within relationships that you have to make those things better. The key component of a goal is that you have a deadline and that you're taking action, right? So the second one is select one goal that will have the greatest positive impact on your life, and then set a deadline for that goal and have a plan of action to get to that goal. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that whatever that goal is, you want to write it on a piece of paper, you want to set a deadline, you want to make a plan and take action on that plan. And then you want to do something every single day that gets you closer to that goal. There's a 10-minute rule that says basically if you spend 10 minutes on that goal every single day, by the end of the year you will have attained it because you're taking action daily, staying on the top of your mind, staying in front of you, so you know daily to work towards achieving that goal. So first one is write down 10 goals. The second one is select the one that will have the greatest positive impact and set a deadline. The third is plan every day in advance. So I've mentioned that I have a planner that I still use that's like from the 90s, right? Those things date us, but the reason I think it's such a great idea is the calendars on the computer and everything else are great, but you don't see those. And if you use different business lines and you have multiple emails, I right now have 4 emails. I had 5, I got rid of 1. But the point is, if you set a calendar on each different email program or each different software, the issue is those things aren't going to line up. That's why it's so important to have something where you have a clear, concise picture of what you're doing the next day. By using the planner, I write out the 5 top things I need to complete tomorrow, today. So at the end of the day, if I don't already have those things written down for tomorrow, I have it written down items throughout the week or the prior days for tomorrow. I try to have 5 things tomorrow that I need to get completed and have those written down and have time documented for them and set aside for them to make sure I get those things done. So that's the next step in that. If you have those things written down, you are already ahead of what most people are going to do every day because you have those things driven. And we've talked about being focused on what needs to get done versus urgency. Having those things written down, make sure that you get them done because urgent things are going to pop up. Busy work and those things are going to pop up. So that's what you want to have done so you can stay focused on it and make sure you complete it each day. That leads right next into the next key point that I wanted to talk about from this book is apply the 80-20 rule to everything. So the Pareto principle was an Italian economist, Vilfredo Pareto, is the one that came up with the principle back in 1895. And basically it says the vital few, the top 20% of your teammates, right, are the ones that are going to rise above and move forward and be the standouts, and you're going to have the 80% that are going to be trivial and going to be focused on things other than success. And it says basically you can apply that 80-20 rule to everything. So 20% of your activities will account for 80% of your results. 20% of your customers will account for 80% of your sales. 20% of your products and services will account for 80% of your profits. 20% of your vital tasks will account for 80% of the value of what you do. So that's been proven time and time again off of all thought processes and aspects, that 80-20 rule is going to segregate what is actually important versus what is not. And in business, in employees specifically, you have the 70-30-10 rule, which is basically that comes from a different business school, right? Jack Welch and that thought process that 70% of your teammates are going to be stellar, salt of the earth, come in and do what they should do. 20% are going to be superstars, come in and lead the way, and then 10% are going to be folks that you should be actively looking to coach up or coach out. So those two rules have really been applied to just about any business or thought process and been proven to be specifically important. So number 1 is make a list of the 10 goals. 2 is set one goal to have the greatest impact. 3 is plan every day in advance. And 4 is apply the 80-20 rule. The 80-20 rule, the proper application of that is to make sure that you're focusing on what are productive tasks and what are proper demands on your time. If you're exceptional at doing something that's not important, you may want to do those things more often, even though they're not important and don't have the impact you desire, just because you are talented in that. That's one of the things you want to focus on. Are you doing what's necessary? And is what you doing, is it actually necessary? If it's not, then stop doing it and focus on the necessary items. And when you're planning your day and you're planning that time, that's how you want to be focused. So that's applying the 80-20 rule. The next one is focus on your key result areas. So in what I was just speaking about, you want to identify what those areas are, right? So if you're not sure what the key areas of your job are, you want to ask yourself this one basic question. This is something that I do regularly. It's why am I on the payroll? Why am I here? What am I getting paid to do, right? So in leadership roles, that should be run and develop the operations, run and develop the teams, and the third is run and develop yourself in your own position. You want to make sure that you're growing so you can continue to expect that your teams are growing. You're able to lead them in that specific thought process. So focus on the key result areas. There's a lot of noise out there, and in this modern world of everyone can send an email, everyone can send a text real quick, everyone can get in touch with you 24/7. It's very easy to lose your step and lose where you're at. And so that's going to impede your progress. You want to make sure that you're focused on those key areas so you're having the impact where you need it the most. So then, in one more step forward into that is apply the law of 3. The law of 3, I always do things in threes anyway. I think everybody does naturally. It's easier to focus on 3 things than it is on the whole quandary of things that are bounding towards you. So identify 3 core tasks that you provide and apply the law of 3. What that means is you're going to spend that 20% of your time on those things because those things are going to produce the 80% of the results you need. So identifying, hiring the right teammates, training the right teammates, and cultivating the right teammates, that should be number 1 of those 3 things if you are in business or if you are a leader. 2 should be P&L responsibility, right? You should make sure that you're being profitable, that you're cutting waste, that you're doing those things that you should be doing. And then 3, there should be compliance. And confirm that you are providing safe facilities, you're providing safe procedures, you're doing all things that are procedurally accurate and responsible for your team and for your customers. So those are 3 key identified tasks if you are in operations leadership, right, or in team leadership. Those would be 3. But on different jobs, obviously those are different things. If you're in farming and you have livestock, then those things obviously are going to be, feed your livestock, care for your livestock, make sure they're good, then manage them in a specific way that they grow up healthy and strong. And then 3 is know when to sell them and have that profitability come in and be maximized. Because once you sell the animal, you can't get any more for it. So you have to make sure you're doing that as a primary responsibility so you can get the greatest price. So those are some suggestions of what we're talking about. Identify 3 core tasks and know what you provide. Okay. The next one would be number 7 is upgrade your key skills. So as we head into the future and everything is technologically strapped, there are still many components of what we do that are not specifically dedicated to the systems we use. So a lot of times those are called soft qualities or soft items, which is quite ridiculous because psychology, sociology, the things that motivate people are not soft. People go through very hard things, so to call those skills soft skills is wrong. But it's imperative that we improve those skills. So if you're in leadership, for example, watching these videos, reading these books, doing these things will help you be a better leader. Hopefully it'll teach you to show more empathy. Hopefully it will teach you to better direct folks towards the tasks that they need to do and better direct yourself towards the tasks that you need to do to be the proper support for them, right? So upgrade your key skills, whatever those things may be. What I would say is do this. There's a couple of laws around you should spend this much time doing this or that. I think you should spend 25% of your time at the things you're not good at. Because if you're focusing on the things you're not good at and you're focusing and specifically focusing 25% of your time towards those things, two things are going to happen. One, you're going to get better, right? Two, you're going to increase your understanding. So that in itself, if there's any gotchas that are waiting in the dark that you didn't see, by focusing that 25% of the time on those items that are difficult for you, that will bring light to those items. So now they're not going to get you. You're going to be prepared. You're going to be able to correct those things before they get out. So make sure you upgrade your skills so you can see those items. And in the next step to that, number 8 is identify your key constraints. So we have constraints. We all have constraints. Nobody's got it all. Even if someone says they have it all, it's because they're well prepared. It's because they're asking the proper questions, that they're using these prior suggestions. There may be a step ahead. You don't want to compare yourself to someone that's in lap 4 when you're in lap 1 or 2, okay? So what you want to do is you want to take care of yourself daily with that prior planned schedule, with the prior planned efforts where you're focusing on your shortcomings and you're applying 25% of those. Remember, when you're doing all this that's so structured and so controlled, and you sustain that structure and control, you will get better. And so those around you are going to notice that you're getting better, right? And they're going to notice that this person really has their stuff put together. That's how you do that. That's how you have that going forward. So by upgrading your skills and focusing on that 25%, and then identifying your key constraints, those constraints may not be within you. They may be in the opportunity. You might be in a micromanaged environment where no matter what you do, no matter what you put forward, 100% of the time someone's standing in your way. If that's the case, you need to document those things. Because ultimately, if you go back to that question on why am I here and why I'm on the payroll, if you're not able to choose those items because somebody's in your way, one, you can try to get into a different upline to try to have better and greater impact based on what your vision of the job is, or you may need to look at doing something else where you can actually have the impact that you need to have, that you require of yourself, and that you require from your team. So that's why you need to identify those key constraints, because once you know what those are, you can work at removing those constraints. And if those constraints are not movable and you have something that's in your way that's ultimately not a problem, it's actually a person situation, then I'll give you an idea on what you should do next. Number 9 is slice and dice the task. We said it before. You can eat an elephant one bite at a time. Theodore Roosevelt said that. Slice and dice the task. Get out of non-productive things. Delegate the things that don't add increased productivity and spend your time on that 20%. They're going to have the 80% of impact, okay? So slice and dice the task. Share those out. It's important the tasks get done, but you get those tasks to task doers. If you're a leader, you're not a task doer. You're the one that manages and supervises those task doers. So make sure you're delegating and you're giving people pieces of that task. Remember, the more people are able to see how their job impacts the overall vision, the more bought in they're going to be, the more energetic they're going to be, and the more of a believer they're going to be in what you're trying to do and the final goal that you're trying to achieve. So slice and dice the task, that's number 9. And the final one, number 10, is the title point of this book, Eat That Frog. What that means is every day you go into work, every day you get up, and there's one thing on your mind that's just awful. You don't want to do it. You hate it. Whatever that thing is, do that first, okay? Do that first. When you do that first, it opens up the rest of the day to maximize productivity. So once you do that thing, you get it out of the way. You don't have to think about it anymore. You can take a break after it, get your mind clear, and then you can be effective in getting after the rest of your day and trying to have the greatest productive impact you can. So those are the 10 key takeaways I got from Brian Tracy's Eat That Frog. The book is here. I am at some point going to have a link in Amazon down below where people can go and purchase the books that I'm suggesting on the channel. If you like what's on this channel, please share. Please tell folks about it. Please subscribe. We want to try to get the subscriptions up. We have a lot of folks that are looking at the channel and watching the videos that are not subscribed. We're very low on the subscriber count, so let's do what we can to get that up. But share this where you can. I hope this has been a benefit to you. And if it is, please try to apply that to what you're doing. Pick up the book when you get a chance. There's a lot of stuff that I grazed over that may be of value. Be good.